Hello and welcome back to GPVWC Superlights. Welcome back to America and welcome back for round number 6 of 16. We are here in the wet and windy conditions at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course layout today. Of course, not quite brave enough to go into the oval as we start to get towards the midpoint of the season. 62 laps await us here this evening, and it is sure to be very, very exciting. A little bit of a while since we've raced here. Used to go to COTA, and it used to be a bit further back in the season as well. The Superlights race there at Circuit of the Americas last year. A fantastic, fantastic display. A little bit of controversy as well at the end of that one. So let's hope that this evening it runs a little bit smoother. You join myself, Ross McIntyre, Fabian Jungbluth on the cameras, and the incredible Carlos Martin on the commentary box. Carlos, it's looking like it's going to be a very fun evening of racing.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very, very messy conditions for today. It looks like at least the weathercast says that it's going to rain now for very heavy rain for the upcoming 15 minutes. And then there should be no rain after that. So we will see a qualifying that very likely the first lap will be the one that it matters the most. And let's see what how the drivers are approaching this.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what the drivers, their tactics are, what they're going to try and do. Again, Indianapolis, it's a weird circuit, you know, it's a road course on an oval, or oval as we like to say nowadays. So obviously you're going the wrong way around the bank bits, and then you've got that awkward, very flat section through the middle, obviously in the wet. not great, not a lot of grip on a racetrack that's not used all year round either. And then when you do get onto the bank bit, you're on a bank bit going very, very fast when there's water on the ground. So conditions are going to be very, very tricky tonight. A lot of it is up to how can the drivers negotiate it. But 41-degree track temperature, air temp around 16. Temps aren't looking to be too bad. It's more just about that resting water on the racetrack, on the racing surfaces. We see there one of the TTF cars going a little bit straight on as he makes his way onto the back straight, which isn't either that long either, but he'll try and push his way through now. We are just coming to the end of practice, I believe, and as I say that, we see a car teleporting its way back to the pit lane, and yep, checker flags out, Carlos. It's time to get ready for qualifying.
Yes, this looks very interesting. The order, like the usual, optimal, Kings, Lunar, can now seems that Netflix is starting to bump up again. We have new drivers like Agustin Canapino racing for TTF Racing tonight. We have Lucas Murno returning to Fusion Racing, in driving for Renko de Zoo. And we have a lot of drivers that have been here the whole season. Some of them are missing, so probably they are just taking the test and they will join probably later on. And let's see how this develops. So it will be important which tire choice every driver is doing right now. Seems like most of them are already in Inters.
Yeah, seems to be Inters heading out of the pit lane at the moment. Again, it's going to be one of those ones where I think it's just take it as it comes. We'll have to wait and see where the tyres are going to lie. If we do get to soft running, or slick running later, should I say, and Koroshovin has gone out on the slick, so maybe, where they're not too far off, tyres that we'll be using this evening, C4s for the softs, C3s for the mediums, C2s for the hards, so nice and middle of the road, but yeah, actually, as I say that, I think Koroshovin's realised he's made a mistake and he's put the Inters on. I think that was a mistake there to go out on the slicks. Very much damp conditions right now. As you said, some new faces, some returning faces this evening as well, Carlos. We saw Lucas Murno making his debut in Superlights last time out, and Remco de Joux was immediately like, yep, just have my seat, sunshine, because he did a fantastic job getting running up the front of the race for the whole time along. Agustin Canapino, and that's a name we haven't seen in GPVWC since 2015, I want to say. Great to have the Argentine here racing alongside his brother Matthias as well. So those two hopefully running some fireworks, and of course Agustin's raced here in IndyCar in real life before, so he should be quick in that theoretical equation. If he knows his way around, we'll have to wait and see. Qualifying laps are now underway. We'll keep following Jose Soriano. He seems to be the one who is setting some strong pace, but Carlos already just trying to test the conditions, trying to test how the car moves, and it's just moving all over the place. There's really not a lot of grip out there.
Yeah, there's definitely not a grip out there, and I think this lap will be actually the fastest one we might be facing the whole session. It was not raining for the first minute of the session, and now it's raining pretty strong, and let's see how the sectors are going. This is key for every single driver. I think there is just one driver on the dry tires, which is Harry Smith right now on the soft compound, and the rest are on intermediates right now. And let's see what the order is right now, but I am very likely to think that whatever the order we see now, it will stay for the rest of the session. As we see drivers crossing now the finishing line, how is it going to be? It's really, really wet right now. It's going to be 112.29, 111.6 for Ruben Mechede, Mike Quinn second, Jakob third, Magnusson fourth. And then we see a lot of drivers doing mistakes. We see Murno going up to fourth, and we see a lot of spray right now. So very likely the lap times are not going to be any better the next attempt. We see Mika Hakimi right now setting the 12th fastest lap right now. And yeah, it was a big mistake from the Netrox driver to actually go on the soft compound. And as we see Fidox, well, that was the other question I was about to say. Is the last corner flat out? I think we have an answer.
Yeah, not quite, I think, is what we're going to go for there. And, well, Carlos, if your prediction's right as well, and it's going to get wetter across the... I mean, you can see already how hard the rain's coming down. You can see just how wet the front straight is. And obviously, David Fardock's been caught out by the rain there as Harry Smith comes out on the set of the intermediates.
It's already
Yeah, if the session's just gonna get slower and slower because of the conditions, you can't afford to make those mistakes either. David Frydock may have just unfortunately screwed himself out of any real position. We'll have to wait and see if he can go again, if there's any damage on the car as well. But 11 minutes left to go, and Carlos, I mean, you can see the track is already visually much worse.
Yeah, the track right now is toasted. There's no chance to improve any of the lap times we see. Although I must mention, I'm checking the weather up. It should stop raining in a few minutes, in 1 or 2 minutes. Should stop raining. It was like super heavy rain right now, and there is almost nothing expected for the rest of the event. So I don't think it will dry up fast enough to actually have another attempt. But hey, we will see.
We will see indeed. Michel Galka, he rounds the final corner, and obviously no telemetry, so couldn't see if it was flat, but he made it through in one piece. Only moves up to 17th though. I mean, look at the time differences. Obviously Frydock had an off, but 3 seconds separates Galka from the next nearest time in Maxime Bulio in 16th place. Yeah, conditions just getting a lot worse, and anyone who's waited and stayed out, Lucchini's already on the wet tyres. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's very much going to be a case of if you just miss that opening run, as Lucchini does beat Galka, so I wonder if Galka made a mistake perhaps, or actually if the wets are now just quicker than the intermediate tyres, because Harry Smith also on the wets. He's 1.8 down in the first sector though, and Harry, again, I think he actually did try and come out on the soft tyres and at first. It wasn't raining at the start of the session, decided he'd take the gamble. The rain started coming down pretty quickly after that one. So we'll have to wait and see what he can do. He's making his way through that awkward hairpin section and getting a bit sideways as well as he tries to make his way back onto the oval. And look at that once again, Carlos, 1.9, nearly 2 seconds down in the middle sector. Yeah, I think it's safe to say, I mean, there's 9 minutes left in qualifying, but unless the sun magically appears, I think we're already done and dusted.
Yeah, it looks like, well, this is the kind of qualifying that you need to read very well what the conditions are. And when it's tricky because Air Factor 2, when you start the session, sometimes takes 1 minute or 30 seconds to actually load the weather, and maybe this was misleading for some drivers and encourage them to actually go on the dry tire. But I think now, as we mentioned, it's done dusted. So we can just hope that the track improves. But the rain keeps going on for now. It should stop like very, very, very soon. But yeah, it's still 48% rain, which is an super big amount, super big. Just for the record, the other day in Super League, it took 2 laps to switch from dry to inters, and it was with 30% rain, and it was raining just 50-ish. It's like monsoon kind of weather. So yeah, it was difficult. It was a gamble. It was a nice try, but it didn't pay off this time.
Yeah, lots of wet racing going on at the moment in GPVWC, it appears. Of course, last time out in Superlights in Spain, that wet to dry race that we had, flag to flag as they call it in bike racing. Yeah, that was pretty chaotic, wasn't it? Just a recap of what happened there, though. The man currently on provisional pole. Only just, though, second place and third place. Within a tenth of him, Ruven Machete taking his second win in a row. Can he make it 3 from 3 here in the United States? As Jose Soriano, meanwhile, had his second DNF in a row, and it looked like another sort of disconnect issue. But he is here tonight, which is good to see, currently in P6, well up on his teammate, who I think missed the window to set a competitive lap time, shall we say. With meanwhile, second place in that race went to, who did it go to? It went to Jan Dragoon, that's who it went to. Sorry, trying to cast my mind back and remember what happened. Yeah, Jan Dragoon taking second place. Third place going to Mike Quinn, who had a monstrous drive to get onto the podium in that Lunart car. A great job and a great podium for him. And then elsewhere as well, we also saw the likes of the debuting Lucas Murno putting in a fantastic job and getting some really, really strong positions. Sandeep Singh coming back as well, finishing P5. Mika Hakimi finishing a P8 as well after a pretty rancid start of his year at Saudi Arabia at the Jeddah Corniche circuit the race before. So, yeah, bit of a chaotic race last time out. And again, the weather, it just causes chaos. It's the great equaliser, as we like to call it in this sport. Tom van der Voort showing us that as he power slides his way out of that corner there onto the back straight. And yeah, very, very tricky conditions. I mean, Carlos, you'll be out here on Thursday with the Super League guys. I don't know if it's going to be dry or wet for your race, but especially if you're going into a race and it's, you know, it's a track that's a bit weird and now you've got the rain coming down, you might be starting a little bit further back. What do you need to do in this situation?
I mean, this is one of the tracks where overtaking is very doable because you're not dependent at all on the DRS. So actually, this is a track that you can climb back up even in wet conditions. It's very tricky because the cars here generally there is a big trade-off between the high downforce and the very low downforce. We see all these infield section that it requires a lot of downforce. It requires a very soft suspension. But then you have all the straight and where you want low wings, you want the stiffer suspension to not bounce in the straight. You don't want to touch the floor in the cambered corner, in the last cambered corner. So yeah, it's a big compromise track, which is not easy to get it done. And we can see here Tom van der Voort not enjoying his best moments. And then the other key point I would say in these conditions is to not overheat your tires. It's very easy to actually just overheat them and to start losing time as Tom is doing right now. It looks like when you just, as we see, like engine dead, I think that's quali over for Tom.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah, that's quali over for him. So even though we see other mistakes, we see Russo just trying to go to the pits and so on. So yeah, we see drivers actually trying what tire is the most ideal in these conditions. So yeah, it's a normal thing.
Absolutely, yeah, tough going out there. We've seen a few drivers meet the wall and a few drivers will be starting way out of position. And again, we just saw Tom van der Voort meet the barrier in some fiery fashion. So yeah, tough out there. And again, the track's just not getting any better. Of course, it's a little bit anticlimactic. It is a big shame that qualifying is kind of one lap and done, and then we still just got to go through the paces for the rest of it. But again, unless someone is able to pull out some magical pace or the conditions magically improve, it will be Ruven Machedi that starts on pole position. Mike Quinn will be second, Norbert Jakob third, Lucas Murno fourth, Patrick Magnussen P5. Another good lap from Patrick Magnussen. He's been really impressing me with his qualifying pace the last couple of weeks. Jose Soriano in P6, Jandrik in 7th, Agustin Canapino on his return. He slots into P8, Alexander Agota 9th, Luke Mitchell completes the top 10. Mike Quinn as well, back up in second place. Few drivers really showing some improvement over the last couple of rounds, which is good to see. And then a few drivers, of course, unfortunately getting caught out. The likes of Harry Smith, he's well down compared to his teammate. David Fidok, we saw meet the barrier. Of course, Tom van der Voort found the wall. We've seen the Cheney crawling back to the pit lane as well. This is Harry Smith on a lap currently, actually. And you can just see in the bottom right-hand side of your picture, just yellow, sector 1, sector 2. The pace isn't there, and unfortunately, I think Harry knows it. At this point, you may as well just stay in the pits and try and save the engine unless you're really trying to find the lap. I mean, that was a 1:17, and the pole time's a 1:11. It's a bit silly.
I think it's good to actually be on track and practice these conditions, especially if you didn't do in your own practice sessions and be coming into this session, right? I think it's a good learning experience to go out. If the engine is a bit more wear, it's okay. It will not be a biggie. So, as we see, Yasse just struggling there to put the power down. So, yeah, it's by the way, I just forgot to mention Yasse is substituting Tom Satterley today. He also raced in Suzuka for for the New Zealand driver. And yeah, I think it's good to be on track and practice these conditions. At the end, this is what it is right now. Yeah, of course, you will not improve your lap times, but you want to be better prepared than the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you make a good point. We also do have a warm-up session after this. You know, well, it's, you know, I'm trying to find things to say, to be honest, because there's a minute left in this qualifying session. Jussi Lahtinen, I mean, is setting a lap time, so there's something going on there. Let's just follow the Brem GP driver round as he, never mind, let's not, as he, I mean, a good save. You can stick that one on your screensaver. Yeah, spinning in a straight line. This could be quite a tricky race, I think, Carlos.
Yeah, and we will see a lot of 360 no-scope. People will confuse R Factor 2 with Call of Duty back in the day, right? Modern Warfare 2. Well, this is the perfect country, right, for Modern Warfare 2. So yeah, US power, you know. But yeah, right now, they just need to complete the quali and move on into the warm-up. The warm-up will be very interesting to see how it develops. It already stopped raining right now. So we might see different starting tires for the race.
Possible. I mean, we could see into. I mean, the conditions at the moment horrendous. I mean, we've just seen Jussi Lahtinen, checkered flag is out, by the way, going for a 360, just trying to get on the throttle, and he wasn't even pushing that much. You can see him now, even though the checkered flag is out. He's not really pushing the car that hard. He's just bringing it back to the pits, but he's still he might actually be on a lap, actually. But either way, he's just crawling around trying to find anything. But it has stopped raining. You're right, Carlos. And if it stops raining and doesn't start again for some time too, could be seeing an intermediate start. I think we're some way off of getting onto the dry rubber for the time being. But again, the conditions just really, really horrible. This could be a little bit similar to what we saw 2 weeks ago in Catalonia, where with the weather, it almost became a game of survival. Could you stay on the black stuff? Could you keep out of the chaos? Only time will tell who will rise to the top this evening. But the checkered flag is out. Lahtinen is actually going to set a final lap time. The target's a 1:11.6 for pole. And he's 12 seconds slower last time with that spin as he crosses the line now. And he does move up a few places, actually. Goes up into 21st there. So at least there is something for the Brem GP stand-in this evening. But that is it. Everyone else is in the pit lane. Qualifying is done and dusted. And it was done and dusted within the first lap because the conditions just worsened and no one was able to improve. It is Ruven Machedi, who, the banker, was strong, starts on pole by a hair's breadth ahead of Mike Quint and Norbert Jakob only just behind as well. Lucas Murno, he's up to P4 with Patrick Magnussen in 5th and Jose Soriano in P6. Jan Dragoon is 7th alongside the returning Agustin Canapino with Alexander Agotza and Luke Mitchell rounding out our top 10. Moving further forwards, it's Joseph Herlock in P11 with Scott Mitchell-Marm in P12 for Kings Racing. Mika Kimi starts 13th. He's got Robin Merling for company in 14th, with the 8th row being David Krupa and Maxime Bulio. Mirko Lacini, we saw him crawling around without a rear wing. Well, he starts P17 alongside the German Philip Puschka with Harry Smith in P19, Michelle Galka in P20. You can see there lots of drivers getting caught out by the conditions. Jussi Lahtinen is 21st with Federico Russo 22nd. Junio Lopez is 23rd with Daniel Scott in 24th. Dominic Koroshavin, the Ukrainian, was the last of our drivers to set a time and in the 1:18s as well, so he'll be 25th. And then starting from either the back or the pit lane, take your pick. It's Tom van der Voort, Jan Sikora, and David Fidok. We saw Sikora, van der Voort, and Fidok all having pretty big shunts, unfortunately, for them in the qualifying session, so weren't able to set a lap time. That's our qualifying done and dusted then, Carlos. And yeah, a few drivers out of place there. It was very much just, you know, it was just who got onto the track earliest, basically, who was able to get out there and beat the conditions.
Yeah, it's super tricky, these conditions. And we saw the lap from Hosen, we saw some mistakes, missing two apexes very big time. And when there is no room for mistakes in this lap. Sometimes it's better to, you know, you hold yourself back 1/10 or 2 overall in the whole lap, and it will just improve you a lot of places. Because if you do one mistake here, yeah, you're just they're just not gonna do great. Right now, this session of warm-up, it might be even more important than what it was in the quali session. We see already some drivers setting the intermediate tires. I think some drivers actually took notes from what we saw in Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya 2 weeks ago, from Mechede winning, setting the intermediate tires. Right now, obviously, the track is not for intermediate, but it's not raining anymore, so it will dry up pretty rapidly. We have currently 28 cars in this warm-up session, and this real road will carry on into the race, and therefore the conditions will be way drier when the race starts. So interesting, unless there is like a big line or a small racing line, I would say start on inters, very likely. That's my bet. Starting on wets is very short placed. You will be, you will be faster. No worries. You will be faster now. Will you be faster by lap 8? I don't know. I think if you start on inters, you would need to, as we see some wiggles there from TTF driver here. But yeah, I think the inters should be the way to go. And I think today we have a highlighted team that is coming from Formula Spring 1, which is Alpha Delta. Today we have in the thumbnail Alpha Delta with their two same drivers they kept last year, with Federico Russo, who has been doing some up and downs this season. And yeah, he had a pair of disconnections this year. It's fairly unlucky from his side. And then we also have now Mirko Lucchini. Yes, we have Mirko Lucchini, and they kept this lineup from last year and from 2023. So it's the third year in a row that they keep the same lineups. So yeah, this is an interesting one. They are currently scoring from time to time this year in Superlights, and they are looking forward to do a podium. I think with a race like today or a bit of shunt, they can maybe up to the top 5, maybe with a bit of more shenanigans to the podium.
One thing that's always struck me about Alpha Delta Sim Racing, they really have an eye for driver talent. They've had so many drivers who, they've either hopped in the car for a race or half a season or whatever. Just, we need a driver, can you jump in? So many of them have gone on to be fantastic peddlers. I mean, the likes of Alex Lahoe's driven for them before, Mike Quint, Lucas Dylin. Obviously, their current pairing of Russo and Lucchini is not bad at all. Joseph Herlock's also been in the car before for them for a race or two. Patrick Magnussen. They've had some really, really strong people behind the wheel in the past. So I think, if there is someone standing in, that's not saying, that Russo and Lucchini are bad by any means, by the way. They're both very strong drivers in their own regard. But it seems that whenever they need someone to stand in, they always manage to find someone really, really good. Their reserve driver this year is Christos Velo, which, again, as always with Christos, a little bit of a contentious, a little bit of a controversial pick to put him in the car, but he did reward them with a 15th place, a points finish in Turkey earlier on in the year, so, have to take that what it is. But yeah, they've always had a knack for just picking up some strong drivers. And again, third place in Formula Sprint 2 in 2021, and then slow but steady improvements in Formula Sprint 1 across the last 3 seasons. So in my eyes, they absolutely deserve to be in the Superlights grid, and they're a team that I'm always very excited to see what they can do, and I think they've got a good pair of drivers in the car. Again, they've got this history of just picking up fantastic drivers for one-off races as well. As there we see, that's one of the Alpha Deltas in the pit lane. Not sure which one we're on board with and which one's back there. And but yeah, I think they're a team with a lot of potential, and a team that could go very, very far in this series. And honestly, Carlos, maybe in a couple of years' time, could even be in Super League. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, no, I think a very, very strong team, and I'd love for them to get a result today as well. I think it could be a bit chaotic. Looking at the tyres and looking at the track conditions, Carlos, I think you are right. I think it's definitely going to be starting on the intermediates.
Yeah, the fastest 2 lap times right now are on the wet tyres. therefore, yeah, it's obvious right now the track ideally is for wets, but how is the track going to be in 10 minutes? How is it going to be in 15 minutes? Are you predicting to have rain? It depends what the teams are looking at the radar. We are using live data from the US, and I'm a bit of a crazy guy. I have 3 radars at the same time in front of my screen, and only one says that there might be a little bit of rain, but the other 2 they say it doesn't. So I guess 2 is bigger than 1, and therefore it shouldn't rain anymore. But let's see, clouds are still there, and if the wind just changes a bit of direction, then we will have a lot of heavy rain again. So yeah, it's just going next to the track right now, and we see Jose Soriano now topping the leaderboard with the intermediate. If it keeps like this, we're gonna see a crazy driver that is willing to go on dry tires. I would say it's not ready, because we can see a lot of spray still, right? But what if, right? What if?
Well, I think it would be very entertaining. I'll say that much. We'll have to wait and see where the conditions are. We're 3 minutes off of the race start. Yellow flag in sector 2. There is a car facing the wrong way, coming onto the back straight, and they're all having to duck and dive and weave to avoid a collision, but managed to get going. I believe that may have been Tom van der Voort that was round there. Yeah, it could be a very, very interesting start to this race, especially if someone is willing to make that tyre gamble. Soriano currently quickest in this warm-up session. Machete second, Latinen up to 3rd place, Murno 4th, Dragoon 5th, Pushka in 6th. So some interesting times there. I mean, the bunch you'd expect to be up the top are up the top, and then a few people maybe mixing it up a little bit, but it is also warm-up. We don't know if people are going for qualifying-esque laps, if people are just running around at half speed, as there was another car off into the gravel trap and into the wall there in the background. It's okay, don't worry. It's warm-up. You are allowed to escape back to the pit lane in this session. It does not DNF you from the session. It's all fine. It's all groovy. It's all gravy. So yeah, a few people maybe a little bit out of position. The TTF guys, Canapino and Sakura, I'm presuming they'd like to be a little bit further forward than they currently are now. As I say that, Agustin Canapino slots into 4th place. He is a Super League race winner alongside, you know, IndyCar, all that, you know, who cares. So, you know, he's got some talent behind the wheel, and it's great to see him back in GPVWC. First time since 2022 when he competed in a couple of the Super League races, but not much success there for him, unfortunately. So 1 minute 45 left to go in this session. Carlos Martin, who have you got your eye on in terms of who do you think is going to win this race?
That's a difficult one. We can see, sorry for changing topic. Some drivers are already starting to set the dry tires.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be the right choice. Like the line is already almost there. We see some drivers are struggling. It's still too small to actually drive it. We see there Jose Soriano, actually one of them. But yeah, in 2 laps, it should be fine. Yeah. The issue is in the race start, it will be very hectic. But in 2 laps, I think this is already for dry tires and nothing else. Who is going to win the race? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let's say Mike Quinn. Okay.
Mike Quinn.
Let's say
Mike
Quinn.
it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean,
like
it could be Machete, but let's say it's someone different. I always said the guy who's starting on pole. I'm the boring guy. Let's say Quinn.
Okay. Have to see where it goes. Mike Quinn never won a Superlights race before. Took his first podium actually in Superlights as well last time out in Spain. Can he go 2 better and get onto the top step? That's what Carlos' prediction is. I mean, checkered flags out, and honestly, I was initially just going to go with Soriano. I was like, I think he looks good. I think he's got the pace. I think the hunger's going to be there after a couple of DNFs. But now suddenly that it stopped raining and people are running dry tyres, I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, again, all the usual suspects. They could be there or thereabouts. It could be a very, very chaotic race as well. But yeah, warm-up session coming to a close now. Norbert Jakab and Jan Dragoon a true north 1-2 in that one, and both of them on the intermediate tyres as well. Harry Smith slots up to third. Quickest soft tyre runner was Joseph Herlock. He was in P4. Also Jose Soriano in P6. So a couple of drivers starting to run the softs and showing that there is pace there. Are they quicker just yet? I don't know. But it might be worth starting on them anyway, Carlos. Just dealing with the rain for a lap or two, and then they come into the road and you can avoid a pit stop. Kind of the opposite of what we saw last time. Or no, the same actually as what we saw last time out in Spain, where people were starting on the inters, dealing with that pace deficit for like a lap or two, and then they can avoid a pit stop, and then they've got the pace.
Yeah, that's one of the options. The only thing is whenever the other drivers pit, they will have a tire advantage. So it will be a delta between those things. I'm not entirely sure what the drivers with dry tires are doing right now. I'm very clueless right now. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say what is the right thing to do. I guess, either way can work. Obviously, going with the dry tires is super risky. It's because as soon as you are off the line, you will have no grip at all. So yeah, hard to say.
Yeah, somehow managed to mute my microphone there.
Don't
Apologies about that. I was,
don't set the hearts.
What I was going to say is that it's going to be tricky, I think. You know, no matter what tyre you're starting on, the conditions are tough. Obviously, when you come into the pits, the pit lane's going to be wet. You've got that huge bank corner. You're going to get water pooling there. So it's going to be tricky. And it could very well be a crazy, crazy, crazy evening of racing here tonight. GPVWC Superlights, as I say, it always delivers. Tonight, there is the possibility of something extra special, just something that little bit more than we're normally accustomed to. Well, we'll have to wait and see, but it could be exciting. 62 laps around here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The road course, of course. We're not quite brave enough to go around the full circuit just yet. Maybe in a couple of years' time we're fancying it. First time we're back in Indianapolis in years. It was raining, it's now dry, and we're waiting to see, Carlos, what tyres people are starting the race on. Looks like intermediates in the pit lane, but obviously that could change when they jump out onto the track.
No.
I'm seeing inters mainly.
I see Quint with medium, Machete with soft. Let's see. I see Soriano with soft, Dragoon with medium, Canapino with soft. I see Jakab, Murno, Magnusson with inters. Yeah, I see a lot of different things here right now. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. The only thing we can say is if you're starting on the dry tires, you will struggle a lot, especially the first lap. Magnusson, sorry, he's on soft. Medium, sorry. Yeah, it's a mess. We shall see after the formation lap.
Yeah, we'll figure it out because I don't think the live timing knows exactly what's going on either. It is Ruven Machete that starts on pole position. Mike Quint alongside Norbert Jakab in P3. Lucas Mono, he goes off of P4 in the Fusion racing car. Made that ride his own last time out. Patchcool Magnussen is 5th with Jose Soriano in P6. Jan Dragoon 7th and Agustin Canapino. He'll start P8 leading the TTF charge. Rounding out the top 10, it will be Alexander Ragotza and Luke Mitchell on the 6th row. Joseph Herlock and Scott Mitchell-Malm, the Kings Racing drivers, in front and behind of each other. Could be interesting off the line. Mika Hakimi lines up 13th alongside Robin Merling, with David Krupa in 15th. Maxime Bulio will start in P16 in the other Fusion Racing car. P17 is Mirko Lucchini with Philip Pischke in 18th, Harry Smith 19th, and Michel Galka in P20. Only a handful of cars, not quite the full grid that we're used to tonight, unfortunately. It's Yassi Lattinen in 21st, with Federico Russo 22nd, Junio Lopez in 23rd, Daniel Scott starts in 24th. This is when we're starting to get to the drivers that didn't set a lap or made mistakes early doors. Dominic Koroshavin starts 25th, and in the 3 drivers that did not set times, Tom van der Voort, David Fidel, Jansen Cora, 26th, 27th, and 28th. Any last-minute predictions before we go racing, Carlos?
Chaos in lap 1. Chaos. A lot of chaos. We can see Rogosa, the first one, on starting on Inters. We can see Hakimi on Inters, Ruben Mulling in Inters. So basically people from the back part. And we can see Fido, who's starting from the pit lane. I guess he was more doubtful what tire to use, and he decided to start from the pit lane. He's just here waiting and probably will load very... might load a bit later on. And let's see what the choices are. The drivers who go offline are very likely to have an off-track
pit lane as well.
Yeah, maybe he changed his mind and decided to start on soft.
Well, what a week of motorsport it is. The Indy 500, the Monaco Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix in motorbike racing, the Coca-Cola 600. But we're here at the Brickyard in Superlights. It is lights out and we are underway. They all crawl away from the grid, trying to get some sort of traction. Ruven Machedi has rocketed away at the front there, somehow managing to pull a huge gap as they all barrel down into turn 1. Very, very tricky. Try not to get on the inside. Soriano, nice little move up the inside of Murno there. Lacini trying to squeeze his way through, as well as their 4-5 wide, all scrambling for position. And there is contact there. That was one of the Alpha Deltas. Believe it was Federico Russo. Was in fact Federico Russo. And here comes the chaos as a few drivers find themselves off the road. Harry Smith, one of our fastest drivers on the grid. A disappointing qualifying. And the race off to a bad start. He's facing the wrong way and down at the back, but he will get going again. Oh, look at them coming out of the corners. Just desperately trying to find any ounce of grip. So far, though, as we make our way towards the end of lap 1, a little bit of confidence being shown by the drivers. They all look like they're struggling, but they look like they're getting on with it. No one looks all at sea for the time being, Carlos Martin.
Yeah, Rogosa won 3 or 4 positions in this race start. He is one of the drivers who was starting on Inters, which makes completely sense at this stage of the race, as we will see a lot of changing positions right now. And we can see Norbert Jakob here overtaking for turn 1. Lucas Murno also looking for the move. We see a lot of attacking right now, and the dry line is very tight, so you don't want to risk too much right now. So we see Patrick Magnusson being P5 right now. Jose Soriano retaking the position. Joseph Horlock fighting for the top 10 right now. It is very messy as we see another yellow. As we see, Jose Soriano fighting here with the Gallery 82 driver and staying behind right now. These dry tires are not yet in the optimal window, and the Netrox driver will need to wait to make the move. So we see Jan Dragun here right now in P9, Maxime Bulliov with the Inters trying to do pressure on Ruben Mulling, who is also on Inters. And this is extremely messy, and the only one thing you want to do right now is your car must be... we see a disconnect from Filip Puška.
Oh, no! It's lap 2! Come on! That's so cruel! Oh, wow. Filip Puška. Your heart has to go out of it. More disconnect
Fidok
issues.
as well? No. Fidok is fine. No.
Yeah, Fidok's just not on the timing screen at the moment. But, more disconnect drama. It has been a real story in 2025. So many people, they're trying to make the move. That's a big go, and Canapino round. He looked to the inside, and the Argentine potentially beached on a curb as he watches the whole field sail by on this wet racetrack and almost collects Michel Galka. Well, not Michel Galka, that was actually Harry Smith going through. And then, again, just almost collecting the guys behind as well, down to 25th. Oh, Canapino, heartbreaking stuff for him. All it goes to show, just a little bit of contact, get your tyres slightly on the wet stuff, and you can be facing in the wrong direction very, very quickly indeed. We're on lap 3, already lost 1, and many finding themselves facing the wrong way. Many finding themselves dropping down
Look at Dragun, he was just in the inside in the wet part, and he lost 4 positions of 4 drivers just overtaking him. And Rogosa takes a position from Patrick Magnusson right now. He goes from P6 to P5, and we can see they are super close. And we can see, they are lagging a bit. Let's hope the server can hold and those drivers don't have any issues. But yeah, they are pushed to passing here to defend the positions right now. And Rogosa knows that, wow, that was super close. Rogosa knows that this is his moment and he needs to make the best of it right now. He needs to be super aggressive.
Yeah, you've really got to go. I mean, Rogosa up in P5, the leading driver on the intermediate tyres. So the Gallery 82 machine clearly very happy. Soriano, Magnusson behind on the soft rubber. Of course, that's going to come into its own as the track gets drier. But right now, you've just got to get those tyres working. You need to be really aggressive, not just to hold the position and keep the pace, but to get that rubber working as well. Yellow flags out in Sector 1, out for a little while, but doesn't seem to be too many issues. Looks like Philip Pushka might be rejoining the race a couple of laps down. Yeah, he has come back out onto the racing track. If you do have the permission from the race director, you are allowed to rejoin a race after a disconnect if you're able to. I think there's like a time limit if you're able to get back into the car and get going again. So Pushka back out 2 laps down. Might be a bit of an unscheduled test session for him, unfortunately. Let's see if he can make any moves as Soriano looks to the inside. Oh, it's getting a bit sketchy as Magnusson and Soriano start banging wheels at turn 2. But the Spaniard muscles his way past. That was brave from a man who's got 2 race wins this season and then 2 DNFs the last couple of times out. We know he's feeling emotional. We know that he's hurt by those DNFs, the disconnects, and he wants to make it right. That was a superb move from a man who could be one of our championship contenders a little bit later down the line.
Yeah, this is an important move. It seems like Patrocor is struggling a bit, and I think now Alexander is going to start dropping fast. He's raced 1.2 seconds slower than the leading field right now. So I think those inters are already over, and he will really need to start considering to pit really soon. It's important now to not try to overtake on the wet part, just to wait behind. Yeah, that's how you have to make it do. How to make it done, as we see Murno doing a 1:9.86, and we see Rogosa is doing 11.2, so that was 1.6 seconds slower a lap, and I think those inters are already not in a great spot. And we see like a 4-car lead. We see Mechede, Murno, Mike Quinn and Norbert Jakob. As we see a yellow in sector 3, we see fastest lap from Pushka right now. So if Soriano wants to contest for the race win, he will need to make 3 seconds, which he is lacking right now.
Just noticed that Jan Dragoon's come into the pits. He did start on the slick tyres, and actually I think Jan, is he stuck there? I don't really know what's going on with Jan Dragoon. The Czech
probably
driver.
damage, no?
Yeah, could
yeah,
be
it's a really long pit stop.
Yeah, we saw we saw that there was a yellow flag in sector 3 earlier on, so I wonder if that was him. I wonder if he's made a mistake somewhere, and as that's coming for damage repairs, as Philip Pushka has now re-DNF'd the race, so he's managed to DNF twice. That is quite good going from the German there. A shame that his evening has come to an end so early. Alexander Ragoza also in, and I think it is time for the slicks. We saw him getting absolutely left for dead by Jose Soriano when he came through the banked final corner. Actually looked a bit NASCAR style, that move. Looked like he kind of moved him up the racetrack. Really cool. As here we see Harry Smith getting into a bit of a scrap with Tom van der Voort and Canapino. And this could be interesting. Canapino and Smith both well down the order after spins, and looks like they've found each other on the racetrack and starting to race. But Tom van der Voort does separate them at the moment. Can Smith find a way through? Lopez just behind as well, and not far behind them is Federico Russo. So this could all get very entertaining a bit further down the order. Currently fighting over 16th place. Now Latinen just in front of them as well. He was running quick in practice earlier, so he may have some pace on board. Just looking at the timing tower on the left of your picture as Van der Voort and Canapino come together, Harry Smith, should I say, come together. Looks like there was a little bit of a touch on board with Smith, and this time there is a touch, and Smith has to save it. Oh man, oh man, oh man, and he drops down to 19th. Lets Lopez through. He'll try and use the push to pass as they come up. Of course, we don't use that last chicane thing that they do sometimes nowadays. It's just straight onto the bank and use the push to pass. Gets back into 17th as there was Van der Voort going into the pit lane.
Oh, there is enabled.
Oh yeah, so clearly track's definitely dry enough. I mean, we saw a moment ago people coming into the pits off of the intermediate tyres. So maybe that's what, yeah, Van der Voort's in now. Gauke's also in. So yeah, they've obviously got the message saying you're more than welcome to go and push and to see if you can carry on the slicks, because we've got DRS available. So clearly, yeah, time to make the change onto dry rubber.
Yeah, also the fastest driver right now on track is Jose Soriano. Is setting an insane pace. He's catching up on the group to the front. He was 6.5 seconds from the lead. Right now he's 4.8. Of course, he's on the softer rubber, but it's the same rubber that Mechede and Murno have. Maybe he's pushing it a bit more. Again, fastest lap for the Spaniard driver, 1:8.4, which is basically 7/10 faster than the second fastest on track right now. So he's either just pushing so much, or he's using push to pass to make up for the difference that right now there is. But right now the Spanish driver is on a rampage, I would say.
Yeah,
and it's
really,
not raining.
Really pushing on. Yellow flags, Mirko Licini off the road. That's coming out of turn 2, I want to say. Indeed it is. As Robin Merling now gets a penalty. We've also actually lost Michel Gauke from the race. So that's 2 DNFs now. Penalty for Robin Merling. That's surely got to be speeding in the pit lane or track limits or something, surely. Just been told, yeah, speeding in the pit lane, we've been told in our ear, most likely. We'll get that confirmed for you. But yeah, that's a shame for him. Rookie Monsters Day not going too well at the moment, unfortunately. Looks like Russo's managed to go on with it. Ruben Mechede, fastest lap of the race. He is almost out of DRS range of Lucas Murno. Not quite, though. The Fusion Racing driver just about holding on. Mechede, of course, looking for his 3rd race win in a row coming into this one. He's already had 3 podiums in a row. He also has 2 wins in a row, so, you know, work that one out. Pretty simple maths for the German there. And, of course, the 2022 FS2 Vice Champion, and currently leading the way in Superlights in 2025. But Lucas Murno, let's wait and see what he can do. Again, a very, very new addition to the Superlights grid, as Jan Dragoon now also out of the race. More chaos. We saw him, he was in the pits a long time earlier, Carlos. I wonder if maybe he's just decided to box and save the engine, because he was running down the back.
Yeah, he probably did. That's the right thing to do. If you feel like there's no points to play with, you just stop the car and you save the engine. Most of the teams were using new engines here, and you don't want to waste the extra power that gives you the engine for a race that you have no options to actually do any better. So yeah. Oh, as we see, a dive from Jose Soriano. He was thinking about it. Yeah, he has way more pace than the drivers in front of them, which are with a harder compound than him. But yeah, it's still not the perfect conditions out of the racing line. So whenever you try to do a move out there, you can lose grip very fast. And we can see his inputs are super aggressive. We can see he's even understeering here a bit, so probably his tires are getting a bit too hot. But yeah, he needs to overtake both drivers that he has in front, because they are clearly losing time to Murno and to Mechede. So he needs to do something about it.
Yeah, needs to try and figure something out there as they come back onto the oval part of the racetrack. Soriano looks like a man possessed at the moment. The Spaniard is absolutely flying along on those soft tyres. Oh, look at that. Just a masterful cut inside. He'll use push to pass. He'll use the DRS and he'll sail on by, make it P4. Be a little bit of a lunge past Norbert Jakob to make it onto the podium places, but Soriano is looking really, really quick, and I don't think if he does get up to 3rd, I don't think it'll be too long before he starts sniffing around the likes of Lucas Murno and Ruben Mechede as well. Murno, again, doing a fantastic, fantastic job at the moment. Again, First Superlights appearance last time out, finished 4th in the Fusion, but given the drive for the rest of the season. The Brazilian has only a handful of GPVWC appearances under his belt. I think it's about 4 in total in Formula Sprint 1 and Formula Sprint 2. A total of 8 races, ignoring last time out. Doing an incredible job in P2 at the moment. Ruven Machete, though, up the top, continuing to do a fantastic job. And, well, let's just see if he can hold on to that position. Lap 12 of 62 so far. 3 DNFs. We've lost Pushka, Galka, and Dragoon. But a fair few drivers. Oh, we lost Daniel Scott now as well. So, yeah, interesting stuff there. But, yeah, it could be... I think the race now settling down. We've got dry conditions. I think we might be okay to just carry on and just everyone take a breather for the time being.
Yeah, everyone is taking a breath and they're trying to defend their places right now. We haven't spoken about the strategy for this race and the fact that we qualified in the Inters. This opens up the possibilities for different strategies. We saw some drivers starting on the medium. We saw Mike Quinn, we saw Norbert Jakob, we saw Luke Mitchell also starting on the mediums, and this opens up different chances that we wouldn't see if they actually qualified on the soft runs, right? And yeah, this might open actually the one stop if you want to do it with the medium and hards. I think this is a possibility. The other possibility is actually 2 and 3 stoppers. The 2 stoppers with soft, medium, medium, and maybe even a 3 stopper with soft, 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 medium. That's also a fair chance to actually see. As we see, Jose Soriano, I think he's gonna easy overtake the True North driver, who is going side by side right now with the Spaniard driver, and they head into turn 1, easily made, and now he needs to make 5 seconds. This is the gap he has with the drivers that are presumably with the same strategy as him. So yeah, this is what we are seeing right now, and we can see Joseph Horlock also going very, very, very fast, and all these drivers are currently trying to look for those who started on soft, who are looking for a 2-stop run. As we see here, David Krupa setting some pressure on Agustin Canapino, and Jan Sikora, the teammate from Agustin Canapino, just right behind him. And it's gonna be an interesting one, because here we can see a bit of a slidey exit here out of turn 7. This is not ideal because here the braking point is quite hard, so you can actually try it if you have a bad exit. And they go side by side through turn 8, they go turn 9. Now it's drier, so he can go through the outside, and they touch just right before the last acceleration zone. Oh, and he spins and tries to just come back to the track safely. Jan Sikora goes back to the track safely. As we see here, Harry Smith trying to take advantage of these contacts. He's currently P13, already in the points, starting from very back in the grid and with an incident into turn 1. This is a great position for the English driver. He probably is looking to make up even further positions in this race. We can see like the opening for the pit stops are gonna be very soon. Soon the window for the pit stops will open up. Actually, it should open up even this lap. It could very well open up. And there are 47 laps remaining. So yeah, this is a range that you would do a double medium if you actually pit it right now. We don't see for the moment anyone pitting. Everyone is setting very fast laps right now. Everyone is doing purple laps, but I think it's because there is still a lot of track evolution. The track is getting rubbered. They're doing 7.5s, whereas if they had a fresh tire, they would be probably doing right now somewhere in the 5s, even in the high 5s with the soft compound, or if they were in the medium, they would be just right now in the middle 6, I guess, more or less. So yeah, the track is evolving pretty rapidly. Also, when the track temperature is quite low, the tires are preserved a bit better. There is a bit less thermal wear. And Machete, he's managing this race perfectly. He is under pressure from Lucas Murno, but Murno is not making it easy for the German driver, Ross.
No, he is not indeed. He is making him work, is the Brazilian. He's still holding on to that P2, and although he is outside of the DRS range, he's there or thereabouts. He's still close enough, certainly, to fill the mirrors, fill the mind of Machete in front. So it's probably a little bit tougher than you'd expect right now for our championship leader. Currently on top, and as I said earlier, looking for his 3rd race win in a row. We've only had 3 winners so far this season in Machete, Soriano and Tom Satherley. It's all been a bit chaotic. We've had drivers missing races, we've had random DNFs. And I mean, Jose Soriano theoretically and statistically has been the best driver so far this season, because every race he's finished has been on the podium. It was 1 3rd place in Australia and then 2 wins in Turkey and Japan, but then 2 DNFs last couple times around in Jeddah and Catalonia, both connection issues as well. Basically the sim racing version of reliability. That's unfortunate upset his championship hopes. Then Machete, who missed the 1st round in Australia, 4th in Turkey, and 2nd, 1st the last 3 times out. So with a very different story, it could be a very different championship picture. I mean, of course it would be, but if you get what I'm trying to say, there's been a lot of luck going into this season, but Machete working very hard and doing a great job. Soriano, though, I think has got a good chance in this race. Luke Mitchell, fastest lap of the race. Nice driving there from the King's Racing machine. And he's up to P7 at the moment, just ahead of Patrick Magnussen. Yellow flags out in Sector 2. Can't see anyone dropping down the order. Yellow flags back out, and we have lost another driver, and it is Lopez. Junio Lopez has escaped back to the pit lane, and that is Mika Hakimi off the road. No, it's not, it's Alexander Agotza, in fact, who's gone off the road. So what's happened there? Was there a coming together between the PZZW driver and the Gallery 82 driver? Let's have a look at a replay. Coming down, no, Agotza, I think, has just gone off on his own, actually. This is coming into the weird hairpin chicane bit at the back of the racetrack. Oh!
Yeah, he had a little bit of the tire on the wet part. It's still like not completely dry up, and then when you just set 1 tire off, you can actually lose. And then I think Junior just didn't want to race anymore and just decided this was enough. Yeah, Junior is doing an amazing FS2 championship this year. But when you jump into a car that you're not used to it, it's difficult to perform, and probably he had a difficult race start. And here we see the contact we saw with Canapino at the beginning of the race.
Oh.
I think this was in lap 3 or 4 when he tried to rejoin, and then he waited for everyone to actually go through. I think just the True Note driver just moved to do the... yeah, he shouldn't have moved, because, yeah, Canapino was entitled for that gap, and just the True North driver, I don't know which one was it, probably it was Jan Dragun, it was not entitled to just move to the right, and then just, yeah, did a bit of bowling with the TTF car and with the KV86.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I thought Agustin Canapino went a bit deep into turn 1 when he had that incident, and now we understand why. That's actually a real shame. Yeah, Jose Soriano comes into the pits then, okay. So the first really of our true front runners who started on the slick tyres comes in. Going to be a set of the mediums for the Netrex driver, and the Spaniard will make his way back out in an orderly fashion. Looks like he will be around about just outside the top 10 if things go his way. It is a long old pit lane though, but of course you do get to deactivate your DRS for some of it, so at least there is that. But again, you've also got guys flying down there.
The pit lane should be wet still.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It is going to be a bit wet on this part of the racetrack as well, because obviously people aren't driving over it, so a bit awkward. Comes out just in front of his teammate there, Harry Smith. I think may have tactically led him just back in front a little bit. That has gone very, very well for Netrex by the looks of things. Soriano P10, and he's got fresh...
sped out in the pits. Proshavin sped on the pits, yeah.
Oh, Dominic. Oh, that's a shame. Well, another penalty. We've seen a couple of those today. A couple of people getting done for speeding in the pit lane. And, well, easily done. I remember seeing someone complaining about the pit lane earlier in the Discord. Of course, if you're not in the Discord, if this is your first time watching GPVWC, head down to the description, click on all the links and all of that as Joseph Herlock comes in for Optiminal, and come and go to the website, join the Discord, see what we do here at GPVWC if you want to get involved. As I was saying though, I saw a couple of people complaining about the pit lane earlier on, so maybe it is just tricky, maybe it is just very harsh in terms of
what were the
speeding.
complaints about?
I don't know, I just remember seeing someone complaining about it. I can't actually remember exactly what it was, but I remember seeing someone saying that the pit lane was, you know what, if there's any problem with any track, just blame Alessandro Maggio. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. You see, you're starting to get it. Just blame it on Maggio. That's the meta. As we see Pilot just doing the fastest lap, and Machete, he just goes for pitting in this lap. I think he's taking it very cautiously. Yeah, he took it super cautious. He might have lost a pair of seconds there. We saw his teammate pitting the previous lap, and he sets another set of mediums. Just copying whatever Soriano is doing, and you will be fine. You had almost a 6-second gap with him, so should be completely fine if you just do the same. If you have, if you trust your own pace, you should be fine. Neither of them will find traffic at least anytime soon. So this should be clean air for everyone. Besides, Machete will just find Magnusson, but I think it should be pretty easy job for him. As we see Soriano setting 6.8 as his fastest lap was 2.4 seconds faster than Murno. So if Murno doesn't pit, he might lose the position now to Jose. But I'm not entirely sure.
He's going to come in. Oh,
yeah, he's coming in.
In the background, Norbert, your cab was trying to dummy, and Mike Quinn nearly ran into the back of him, and Murno now getting very, very aggressive into the pit lane. Oh my goodness me, this race is getting a bit chaotic on lap 22 of 62. 40 laps remaining, lap 23 is the leaders across the line. And
Murno did a mistake because he was pretty far ahead of Jakob and Quinn, and the fact that they were so close, it just...
Maybe that's why he decided to come in. Maybe he made a mistake and thought, let's just get off these tyres and get a fresh set. Where he's going to come out is a real question. Where is Jose Soriano? As we wait to see, there's a couple of cars going past now. There's Ruven Machete, and Magnussen is also going to get through. Yep. So stuck behind Patrick and Magnussen for the time being. Soriano a little bit further back than I initially thought. So Murno, Magnussen. I mean, they are racing for position, but Magnussen is going, no, I'm holding on to this. I like my P5 at the moment. And Murno's going, that's the race leader just in front of me. I need to go now. Oh, what a shame for Lucas Murno just getting caught up behind there.
Oh no, Patrick is using push to pass here in this thread. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't want to let him through.
Wow.
He's racing for position, which is amazing. Sometimes you see situations like this and people go, you know what, it's not my race. You guys are the net race leaders. I'll let you on by. Patrick Magnussen, well, he's actually just made a little mistake, so Murno will now get through. But he's racing in for position at that. Yeah, look at that, look at that. Jose Soriano is now right on the tail of Patrick Magnussen and Lucas Murno, and now they're going to go side by side, maybe 3 wide down into turn 1, and they're almost doing it bump drafting style. Oh man, Patrick Magnussen just adding a bit of spice to the race. Soriano nearly goes off the road, runs deep, and will concede that place. And that allows Murno back through, but in all of that chaos, it's allowed Machete to get a 2.5 seconds up the road. That, Carlos Martin, could be race-defining. That could have been the moment when Murno was right with Machete, and instead he's been held up by a bit of traffic, and Machete has a 2.5 seconds of clear air behind him.
Yeah, but I don't think they will actually... they will finish the race with these tires, and this is important to see what tires does Norbert go for, because if he goes for hards, he could actually try to go till the end with 38 laps to go. It's bold, I would say. The hards seemed pretty slow, but yeah, I mean, this pit lane is really long, so to make up 23 seconds is difficult. I think he just went for another set of mediums, and he would look for setting the softs really at the end of the race. As he goes out of the pits, and we see Joseph Horlock just going through Patrick Magnus, and I think Patrick just gave up a bit on on the position on him. Decided that maybe it's not worth to use all my push to pass defending and do my own race. As we see Herlock actually closing down on Soriano and Murno, but that's because they were fighting hard with Patrocor.
Yeah, all getting very, very intense out there at the moment. Lap 25 of 62, potentially a race-defining moment, as we saw there a few months ago between Murno, Soriano and Magnussen. And now we can all just breathe, we can all just relax here for a little minute and just everyone calm down. Yeah, no, it's been a very interesting race so far. We've got a whole host of DNFs. We're down to 21 drivers. We didn't have the full 30 on the grid tonight. We only had a 28, unfortunately, missing Matthias Canapino. I'm not actually entirely sure who else we're missing. I'll try and figure that one out, but I believe it was Matthias Canapino. It was definitely one of them. Possible that it is the Victor Borley who's supposed to be the other. Yeah, or
yeah, he had a personal commitment last moment and he couldn't just attend.
Thank you very much, Carlos. So that's why two of our drivers are missing tonight. But yeah, a lot of drivers falling foul early doors. Not quite the chaos that we were, as chaotic as we were expecting, shall I say, because it was a bit chaotic. Maybe not quite the levels of as we saw in Spain, when it was, oh, what tyres is everyone going to be on? It was a little bit finer cut, a little bit more straight on. So, yeah, everyone can just breathe. Up the front of the pack at the moment, Mike Quinn. He's got a 4.5 second advantage over Luke Mitchell. And then we have our net race leaders, Machete, Murno, Soriano, your top three. Herlock not far behind Soriano either. Apparently, Lucas Murno's not had a pit stop according to the graphic, but I can tell you that's wrong. R-Factor 2, what a simulator. It really just is the best of the best when it comes to broadcasting. So the likes of Herlock, obviously he's there, his teammate Machete in the net lead of the race. He could definitely get involved and start giving his teammates some assistance. The nearest other driver in terms of teammate helping you would be Soriano with Harry Smith. Maxime Bulio's down in 15th, so Lucas Murno is going to have to duke this one out on their own. Soriano, though, Carlos, to me, Jose Soriano, he just looks really, really hungry. He looks like he really, really wants a result tonight.
Yeah, but it's not about wanting it, it's about achieving it. And by the looks of it, I think Mike Quint and Luke Mitchell are going for a one-stop. I think it makes sense that at the range they are right now with the mediums, they will just set another, they will set the hards and they will just go till the end. I think this is the adaptation they just found out by not doing the qualifying on the, as we see Luke Mitchell actually going for a pit stop right now, and yeah, the hards. So he's going till the end with these tires. They are not super fast, but let's see, maybe they are a team that they are able to make them work better, in a better range than the rest of them, and they can just take the win, because right now, if they go for a one stop, they are currently leading the race, Quinton and Luke Mitchell.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, just have to see what they can do, see if they can make those tyres last. Obviously trying to go very, very deep into this opening stint. So lots of tyre strategy going on here again. Sometimes you get that with races where some drivers are starting on inters instead of slicks. Obviously you come into the box after a couple of laps, throw a set of slicks if it's the wrong decision, or vice versa. It kind of throws your strategy out the window a little bit. So going to be interesting to see which strategy comes out on top. Right now, though, our race leaders looking very comfortable. Whatever they're doing, they seem pretty happy just going around and getting on with it. So we'll have to wait and see if they can push on any further than that, and see as Tom van der Voort now gets a penalty. I believe he may have just come into the pit, so that'll be our latest speeding in the pit lane victim. Come on, boys, it's like rule number 1 in the rule book. You know better than this. Anyway, enough of me criticising people who are better at driving than I am anyway. I have absolutely no right to criticise them. Yeah, Jose Soriano holding on to P4 at the moment. He is closing in on Lucas Murno. Might not be long before he starts launching a move, Carlos, because he's been racing very aggressively today, Soriano. He's been really getting the moves done as soon as he can.
Yeah, but you cannot just use all your push to pass right now. If Jose feels like this pace is okay and this pace is good, you don't need to pull the move right now. You can actually do it later, and that will be completely fine. The important thing is when you feel whenever a driver is just holding you up big time, as we see Quint just going for the pits with the same strategy, I guess, as Luke Mitchell with the hard tire. Yeah, it's you want to stay there and you don't want to take risks and by doing an overtake and failing and lose time. Of course, you have to think that some laps ago he failed the attempt of being ahead of Lucas Murno by just going too wide into turn 1, and that probably is like, yeah, what is holding him right now here. But at the same time, you just need to keep it smart. Tires need to last. You will probably pit in 10 or 15 laps. You will pit again, and you will either set the soft again, or you either set the mediums until the end. Depends on what the strategy you like the most. At the end, you're not only battling Lucas, you're battling Mike Quinn. Right now is the virtual leader of this race. That is the reality.
Yeah, all a bit much to wrap your head around sometimes racing, isn't it? But we'll get there in the end, I'm sure. Soriano still not quite close enough to launch an attack on Murno just yet. The Brazilian doing enough to stave off any pressure from behind. But Soriano does look very, very quick. Currently fastest driver out on the circuit. It is Ruben Machete, or actually no, it is Soriano with the fast lap. Even faster is Joseph Herlock, so I'm just getting it all wrong. Soriano is the fastest out of the leaders, should I say, and on the last lap he was quicker, but it was very, very fine margins. Machete with a 106.892, Murno with a 106.906, Soriano with a 106.889, so we're talking millimeters in terms of pace difference between the front three. Herlock actually running just a little bit quicker at the moment, a tenth or so quicker. Not on the last lap. Last lap, I believe he made a mistake. But Herlock is catching, and this could get very, very interesting in about 5-10 laps' time. Mika Kimi, meanwhile, we see on your picture at the moment, he's currently running P14. Not quite as strong as he was running in Spain, unfortunately. Had a great race there, managed to stay out of the chaos, and even with some of his own drama going on, managed to get a good result. Still in the points though at the moment is the Malaysian driver, so I'm sure he can be happy with that under big pressure from Robin Merlin behind though. The Rookie Monsters driver desperate to try and make up some position, so let's see if he is able to do that going ahead on lap 32 of 62. Over halfway through this race now, so yeah, we're into the deep end of it now. We're into the point where you need to start thinking, okay, when does the strategy come in? If I need to make moves, do I start to pull the pin now? And is that what Robin Merling is going to do? And indeed he is. Hakimi, they bang wheels down the straight. Hakimi aggressive. Merling breezes past though. Not an issue at all with the DRS and the push to pass. The Rookie Monsters car slides up to 14. That was some very aggressive defending there from Mika Kimi, banging wheels down the straight, Carlos. Could have been a little bit of a disaster, but it ended up all fine. Merling up to 14.
We didn't mention it. Rookie Monsters is using a special livery for this round. As we see now, it's a really, really black and purple livery. As we see here with some cookies. Did I see some
Cookie
cookies
Monsters,
there?
I guess? Maybe it's a joke. Yeah, Rookie Monster, Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monsters.
Yeah?
Yeah? Yeah, because they're not really rookies anymore, do they?
No,
I mean, they are rookies here in Superlights. They're rookies in Superlights, but they are tough cookies, I guess. The tough cookies.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find something on that, because honestly, we just completely missed it. There was no reason to suspect why Rookie Monsters were running a special livery, and we weren't told they were. So yeah, we'll find out. Of course, that's not me putting down anyone who works at GPVWC. They all do a fantastic job. I'm just presuming that they didn't know either. So yeah, we'll figure out what's going on. Although I have just punched Rookie Monsters into the Discord, see if I can find anything. And one of the things that came up relates to what you've just said, as Christian Vajdar a little while back, as that is Mika Hakini off the road, coming through turn 2/3. And he'll make his way back onto the racetrack, but he now drops to 18th. Sorry, as I was saying though, Christian Vajdar a couple months back made the exact point you just made, Carlos. Why are you called Rookie Monsters if you're not rookies anymore? Surely you should change your name. What would they call themselves?
We missed it. Sorry to interrupt you. We missed it. Luke Mitchell overtook Mike Quinn. So this is the virtual fight for the lead. Looks like Luke has way more pace than Mike, at least with these hard compounds right now. And yeah, Luke's pace is really impressive with the hards right now. As we see, he opens DRS, just goes for the move, and it's weird Mike didn't defend it, like considering this is for the lead. I mean, you probably, I don't know, maybe try to keep your own position. And I mean, he's losing a lot of time right now. He clearly doesn't feel comfortable with these tires, but yeah, I was maybe expecting a bit of a fight there.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So we'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold with that one. But yeah, Luke Mitchell up to P6. Can Mike Quinn respond? He's still in DRS, and again, wasn't the hardest overtake in the world for Luke Mitchell. So maybe I wonder if Quinn is just happy following Mitchell for the time being. Kings Racing against Lunark, both of them having some strong race pace today. Meanwhile, David Fire in the other Lunark car in 14th after a crash in qualifying. Started from the back. He's had a fantastic fight back so far. Really managed to get his way through. Meanwhile, the other Kings Racing car, Scott Mitchell-Mum, unfortunately out of the race. So yeah, it's just Luke Mitchell doing the job for Kings today. We'll have to wait and see if he's able to hold on. We are down to 20 cars left now. We've lost 8 of our entries. Lap 36 is 62. Could potentially lose some more as well. Jose Soriano is now right on the gearbox of Lucas Murno. He's not going to have a move this time, but getting closer and potentially thinking about making moves soon. Obviously, he'll be trying to pressure Murno into a mistake. It's the easiest way you overtake is just get them to mess up in front of you. You can slide on by. But I don't think that's going to quite work with Lucas Murno. I think Jose Soriano, Carlos, might have to get his elbows out, get aggressive and try and force his way through.
Well, he needs to look back as well, because Joseph Hurlock is just right behind and he's just like almost sniffing his nose into this, right? Lucas has a 2-lap tire advantage over Jose, which might not seem much, but it is pretty meaningful. Those extra hundreds, if not like 1/10, it is very meaningful to be able to pull the overtake or not. And Lucas is slowly losing time to Ruben Mecheda. And yeah, Luke Mitchell is just matching the lap times that Ruben and Jose are doing right now. So whenever those leaders speed, they will be in a rush to catch Luke Mitchell. They will need to cut down the gap from 8 seconds. They will have 20 laps to more or less to cut down the gap from 8 to 0. It's very doable. It's very doable, but it will not be easy. Definitely not.
Yeah, it will not be easy at all. I'm just going to tune into Ruben Machete's Twitch stream quickly and see how he's feeling, get a look on the man's face, and he looks very, very focused right now. See, this is the beauty of the internet. Sometimes you can just go and find things like that to help you out. So Ruben Machete looks really focused. I wonder how Lucas Murno and Jose Soriano are feeling under their virtual helmets. Perhaps a little bit more stressed if you're Lucas Murno, because you've got a Netrex all over the back of you. And then Soriano himself probably has half a mind back to Hurlock as well. So all to play for as this battle slowly starts to brew. You can tell it's coming. It's just when it all kicks off. On board with Hurlock, currently in 4th place in the other Optiminal car. I'm sure they would be loving a double podium at the end of this one. That'll be the task in hand for the Englishman.
Ooh!
Who
went white?
Was that?
Was it Soriano? No, it was Soriano.
Was it Soriano? Yeah, it was Soriano. Yeah, Soriano struggling then. Yeah, what's happened there? I didn't actually see what happened. I was looking down at my timing screen very briefly. Let's go.
He lost the brakes, I think.
It's the brakes. Oh
yeah, he lost the rear. Yeah, and then he just went straight, considered back the position, and yeah, even lost the arrest from Lucas from this action. So he's yeah, maybe the tires are just starting to fade a bit, and maybe considering to pit anytime soon. He did 20 laps with the soft tire, and probably he will do he will probably pit, I guess, whenever it's 20 laps to go or something similar. Maybe set soft or maybe set medium. It's yet to be defined.
Yeah, well, that was not the costliest of error for Jose Soriano, but he's going to have to go again now, and of course means that Herlock's closed up, and now he has to be on the defensive because he doesn't have DRS, and the car behind now does. So a shame there for the Spaniard, but he does still hold on to that podium place as it stands. So not all doom and gloom, and he is, importantly, still in the race, Carlos, as well. I'm going to touch my wooden desk as I say this because he's had 2 disconnects in the last 2 races. Don't want that to be happening again.
But don't even mention it. Don't even mention it.
Yeah, I'm just going to shut up. Jose Soriano's doing a great job. We'll leave it there. Who else can we talk about? David Friedok's up to 13th. Patrick Magnussen is in 11th. Yeah, there's some other drivers for you, ignoring me just jinxing. Sorry, no. David Friedok, though, must be said, actually. I just plucked him out of thin air to move on. Doing a great job after coming out of he started in the pit lane, actually. Up to 13th place, doing a good job in the Lunark car at the moment. Again, it's Carlos. It's been tough for David the last couple rounds. Of course, you know, David has a lot going on in his personal life. He had to drop down out of Super League for it. As a result, came to Superlights last season. And then he originally wasn't going to be able to do this season at all. And then he was able to find a drive. And it's in those drives that he's done, just some rotten luck going his way. And once again, a crash in qualifying, getting caught out by the conditions. But up to 13th place, doing a good job at the moment.
Yeah, it's probably not the position he hoped for tonight. But yeah, at the end, if you keep driving, you at least want to make the best out of it and to score 3 points. I mean, he can still hope to score a few more if he increases, well, if he keeps the pace he's been doing right now. The race start was extremely hectic, so we don't know yet if his car is in the perfect conditions or not, even because even he started from the pit lane. There were some drivers that they spun and tried to return on track and some contact, so it's not easy to actually know if there is some pace hindering there because of the damage, or is it just like the fact that he started so far back in the grid that make him to be here right now. But yeah, still some points for the English driver and looking to catch up on Mirko Lucchini right now.
Yeah, trying to catch up to the Italian, see if he can make his way around. Koroshavin comes out of the pit lane, fresh set of mediums for the Ukrainian, and he'll make his way off once again, the only Alfa Sierra car in this race. Jari Latinen, that was aggressive coming into the pit box there, and the Brem GP driver will come out around about 12th or 13th, I suspect. We've lost another driver, we've lost Mika Hakimi now. So the Malaysian makes it 9 DNFs across this race. That's a shame. Hopefully everything was okay for Hakimi and it wasn't a big hit or anything like that. Latinen looks like he'll come out behind David Friedok. So nice, not totally clear air, but a target in front to put the least. As Herlock continues to go around. Was that Soriano coming into the pit lane? Yes,
he was losing a lot of time. Yep. He was racing 9 tenths lower than Lucas and Rufen, so yeah, it was probably time to him for pit. He just paid the price of being too close to the Brazilian driver. Ooh, as we see the PCCW driver, I guess it was Canapino, yeah, or was it Krupa? No, it was Krupa. To be very close to him, we see a bit of bending on the steering wheel, just a tiny bit, and ever so slightly. But yeah, we can see now that this is key moment for the Spanish driver. He will find a bit of traffic, I believe. This is, I'm not entirely sure who it should be a lapped car. I think it's Koroshavin. Probably it is Koroshavin. I should get out of the way. But yeah, this is an important lap, and let's see how Mechede and Murno react to this. Probably Murno should react right now. You don't want to lose the position to Jose, and I think Oroshamin is just getting out of the way. Yes, he does. He's getting out of the way, and this is important because yeah, Murno is just is reacting to Jose's attack, and very interestingly, Herlock and Mechede don't react to it. Don't react to Jose's move to the pits. So this will lead. Ooh, Lucas goes for the soft tire. So this is a different choice compared to the Networks driver. They rather use the soft until the end rather than to use the medium. Probably Jose with a more aggressive style until the end of the race, whereas probably the Optiminal and Diffusion racing drivers, they will just be preserving a bit more of the tires.
Yeah, it's kind of hit that phase of the race where now you're just kind of running your own thing and hoping that everyone else encounters issues and everyone else runs out of tyres, something like that. It's that management moment. It's all about just keeping things in tab, just hitting your marks out on the track, keeping your tyres at the right temperature, making sure you're not scrubbing off too much rubber, making sure you're not scrubbing off too much speed in the process as well, as there's now less than 20 laps to go, and you're thinking, right, how do we go forward from here? So Soriano, he's got clean air in front of him. He can push onwards on that fresh set. The question is that where will those around him come out? We know that Murno's in front, and quite a way in front as well. Mechede seems pretty happy at the moment staying out. So if Mechede's able to run these tyres longer and he's happy to go, that being said, Soriano does set fastest lap of the race, a 106.085. If Mechede's able to run these tyres longer and keep the pace on these tyres as well, then he can have a shorter final stint, and then he can push those tyres harder, and obviously there'll be less fuel, so he can push it even harder because there's less fuel and you've got fresher tyres, etc, etc, etc. It just builds and builds and builds. This phase, it is more beneficial if you know you're not losing too much time on these tyres to stay on them for as long as you can, as Yassi Latinen now sets fastest lap of the race, 106.026, so almost starting to get to the 105s now.
Mechede to the pits.
And well, as I'm saying that, in comes the race leader. Just prove me wrong, why don't you? Ruben Mechede, set of the mediums to go to the end of the race. Herlock also in to a double stack, or as close to a double stack as you can get in R-Factor 2 from the Optiminal boys and girls, the virtual boys and girls that is, in their pit crew. So your cab now leads from Luke Mitchell, from Mike Quinn. Mechede is going to come out behind Lucas Murno. Okay. Interesting. I didn't think that the undercut was going to work that effectively. Lucas Murno has just jumped Ruben Mechede. Where do we go from here?
It's interesting because Soriano is behind Mechede, and it's by a pretty big margin. That's he's nothing. I was thinking about Herlock. So Munro is in front of Mechede. He just undercutted him. 2 seconds behind. Munro with soft, Mechede with medium. So Mechede will need to do the overtake for the win here. And yeah, Norbert Jakob yet to pit. But I think Norbert is a bit off the race win contention. Yeah, he's just pitting right now. And interestingly enough, Murno is about 9 seconds off from Luke Mitchell. With the current pace, he will just catch Luke in 5 laps. But I don't think he will be able to keep this delta of tires that he has right now. But he's racing 1.6 seconds faster a lap, and the gap is only 7 seconds. So I really think that Murno will just overtake Luke Mitchell. The question is if he will actually lose time by overtaking Quint, but with the tire gap that you have right now, it should be fairly easy to just pull the move. And Mechede will actually need to work this a lot for the end of the race. He will not have it easy at all.
Yeah, we're shaping up to have a really intriguing ending to this race here, because there's just people that aren't quite in the position that we thought they were going to be in, and suddenly it's all getting a bit shaken up, and we may be having to see some drivers push a little bit more than they would previously like to. This could potentially be falling right into Lucas Murno's hands, because he's right on the tail of Mike Quint. He's going to get through him in the next couple of laps with other daddies on fresher rubber. He's got the faster car. DRS pushed past. He's already having a look now. He's a little bit too far back on that occasion to go for it, as Joseph Herlock, it must be said, does set fastest lap of the race. And there's still plenty of time as well for Murno to catch up to Luke Mitchell. So this has potentially fallen right into the Fusion Racing driver's hands. I'm not sure whether he's done something right and has kind of snatched it away from Optiminal, or if Optiminal have messed up somewhere on their strategy and kind of thrown it away themselves. It's all a bit confusing, but right now, it's the Fusion Racing car of Lucas Murno in the hot seat.
He just goes for it.
Yeah, moves up to second place with a nice move, not wasting any time either. The Brazilian, in his second GPVWC Superlight start, could be about to be a race winner.
Yeah, definitely. He's just in a very aggressive strategy right now, and he's catching on into Luke Mitchell as well, who is the current leader of the race. And the thing he will need to be worried about is if his tires actually fade off at the end of the race. That's the worrying thing, because Machete could have gone for the soft and he decided to stay on medium, and Herlock could have gone for the mediums and he went for the soft. So it's unclear which is the best decision. Some drivers consider the medium, some drivers consider the soft, and this is actually very interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting indeed. So it's 5 seconds separating race leader Luke Mitchell from the fastest leader at the moment in Lucas Murno. Machete won't be too far behind him. He's now in the DRS of Mike Quint. And Quint, although they are racing for position, I think he knows, look, these guys are on fresher tyres. There's no point fighting them. Yellow flag sector 1. And that's out for a little bit of time, but looks like everything's okay. Oh, we've lost another one. David Krupa makes it 10 DNFs. What has happened to the PZZW driver? As that is now 10 DNFs.
Quint.
Yeah, he is. Meanwhile, going the action. Let's see where he goes. Machete looks to the inside. We'll have push to pass. We'll get DRS as well, and we'll sail on by. So Ruben Machete up into the podium places. Can Soriano and Herlock follow through as well? So now it's the question of, is Machete quicker than Murno? Now he's got a bit of fresh air in front of him. Can he catch Murno before he gets to Mitchell? Do they catch Mitchell at the same time? There's about 13, 14 laps left, Carlos. And honestly, there's a fair few people that could be winning this race when the checkered flag's out.
Yeah, I mean, the favorite I would say right now is Lucas with 13 laps to go. With such a tire advantage, if you can keep the tires on, you're the favorite. And I think the second closest should be Machete right now. They are just racing way faster than Luke Mitchell. They're racing 1 second faster, and they are just 6 seconds behind Machete, 4 seconds behind Lucas. So I really think this is, yeah, Quint just gives up with a hard tire, and well, this just makes me wonder, is Luke Mitchell gonna that very sideways pit stop right now? I don't think Luke is gonna give up, because yeah, Luke has a potential P5, and if you pit right now, you just drop to P6, and you will need to fight for you will need to fight for it with Norbert Jakob, right? You will need to cut down the gap a lot. So I think Luke just needs to keep going with this. I just hope the lap cars can just make it easy for everyone here, and they don't do anything weird, and we can see a very interesting end of the race without any weird interactions.
Well, we'll have to hope that nothing gets in the way of a brilliant race and a brilliant ending to this contest. But, you know, sometimes in motorsport and sometimes in sim racing, things don't always go to plan. But Lucas Murno right now is carving away at the time of Luke Mitchell, who may not even try and hold on to the race lead. He may just let him fly by. He may just try and hold on to the end of the race, hopefully for him, and see if he can scrape some solid points. Not yet boxing. Will he box? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Lap 51 of 62, starting to get to the dying depths of what has been a fantastic evening of racing. Once again, GPVWC Superlights providing an absolute belter. The second tier on the GPVCW GPVWC pyramid, should I say. Can't speak English for a bit. But it does provide the best racing, in my opinion. And I say it time and time again, but it is fantastic. And Luke Mitchell, well, he's done a fantastic effort, but I think it's not going to be too long. It may even be down at turn 1, Carlos, because Lucas Murno's carving ridiculous numbers out of him now. He's now within DRS range as well. It's going to be, or if not this lap, next lap. And all that being said, Ruben Machete as well, he's not too far behind Lucas Murno.
I think it's this lap, yeah. It's this lap and push to pass, and I think Luke is just aware of this, and he just wants to make the best of it. You just let him go, and that's it. You're fighting for maybe the last spot of the podium, or maybe for a P4. So you just need to acknowledge what is your possibilities right now, and right now fighting Lucas with much better tires, as you can see. Just look at the visual gap, it's almost already 1 second, and yeah, it's not enough.
No, not enough, unfortunately. So Lucas Murno takes the race lead with 10 laps to go in only his second ever GPVWC Superlights appearance. And it could well be his first race win. It could well be, I believe, that'll be Fusion Racing's first Superlights win as well. Just absolutely unbelievable. We are potentially seeing the birth of a superstar here in GPVWC Superlights. And boy, oh boy, what an ending to this race this could be. Machete not yet past Luke Mitchell and isn't really catching him at the rate of knots that I think he'd like to be doing so. And Soriano not far back on him as well, as Murno negotiates his way through the traffic. Lap 53 of 62, 10 laps left to go for the 18 runners we still have left in this race. And it is the Brazilian Lucas Murno who looks like he could be in control for the dying stages. What's going through Lucas's mind right now, Carlos? Is it nerves, or do you think he's just focused on the job?
It's not done. It's not done. He has the soft tire. The soft tire will drop a bit at the end, and Machete will have the upper hand. So it is definitely not over. Machete, he set the mediums, I guess, to have the higher end at the end of the stint, to have the maximum tire advantage, so he can just pull the move. But definitely, it's not over yet. It's not over. Yeah, the gap will be probably 2.4 seconds when this finishing line ends, but it's not close to being over. And I think Machete now is not going to overtake Luke Mitchell. So this is actually key for the end of the race.
Yeah, I think that Murno is secretly hoping, in the Fusion Racing squad, hoping that Luke Mitchell does him an absolute service and puts on a defensive display against Ruben Machete, who's not been able to get through him just yet. Yes, the tyre disparity is there, but he's still on softer tyres than Luke Mitchell. He's still on fresher tyres than Luke Mitchell. Machete shouldn't really be that hard to get through. He just doesn't quite have the pace. It just seems that the Optimal can't quite get these mediums working, and I don't know why. We'll have to wait and see if he's got the pace, but while he's still stuck behind Mitchell, should I say, Murno's now 3 seconds up the road, essentially. He's booked his ticket, he's got on the plane, he's checked out of it. He knows that he's going to hit the cliff towards the end of the race. The tyres are going to drop off. So he's bringing that gap up now as much as he can, as we get very, very squirrely with Ruben Machete. Some Carlos Martin is coming through there, but he's managed to keep it all in one shape. Surely, Carlos, this time it happens.
No. It will not happen. Luke has a slip change from the car in front. I don't know if it's a lap car. Yeah, it looks like it was like the Cookie Monsters car. Yeah. So it is not in this lap, and this just goes in favor of Murno. Murno's pace is fine right now. He's doing mid-6, which is okay. But I think Machete can actually lap faster than that with the mediums currently. And just bear in mind, the mediums from Machete are even younger than the softs from Murno. He pitted 1 lap later, and that's why he got undercutted in this process. So it was very aggressive for Murno, but he needs to just go now, because you already need to make up almost half a second a lap to actually have an opportunity on Lucas, and it's now or never.
It is now or never. It's getting really, really close, and Ruben Machete needs to get a move on The laps are ticking away and the race win could be slipping away. Another crucial moment before your very eyes. Mitchell does go slightly defensive at this time. He is going to get it done. Machete to the inside, push to pass. DRS doesn't completely blast on by, but he does get to second place. 3 seconds is the gap. 7 laps left to go. So he's looking at, realistically, he needs to get about half a second out of Murno over every single lap from now to the end, and then he's got to get through him. It's a tall order. It is a very tall order, but it is doable if the pace is there, if Murno's tyres drop off. The gap's already down to 2.7, so he's already carved about 3/10 out of him. That's a good start. It's all eyes on these front two. This is the battle for the race lead. They may not be together on the racetrack, but where the pace is right now, that decides who has taken this race win. Jose Soriano about to get through Lucas Mitchell as well and get back onto the podiums. Great job there from the Spaniard. Real shame for Luke Mitchell that he just didn't quite have the pace, have the tyre life to hold on to the podium places. As Soriano, this should be nice and easy. Gets the DRS, gets in the slipstream, goes wide, goes outside this time. Interesting. Most people have been holding it back and then going to the inside on the corner exit. Soriano's gone the long way around, IndyCar style. Very nice move. Up to the podium places goes the Spaniard. Right then, lap 57, gaps at 2.6, Carlos. Can Ruth Machete catch Lucas Murno?
Depends if they have push to pass remaining. This is when the push to pass remaining comes in play. You can use it to raw pace and to catch up and everything. Or if you don't have any, you are completely exposed. And here the push to pass with the long straights and everything, it is a big thing. So, and we see now Herlock will try to make the attempt on Luke Mitchell. Although Soriano is not pulling away massively right now from Luke Mitchell, you actually want to break up this DRS because otherwise maybe you will get in danger at the end of the race. With the medium tires, we saw Soriano struggling a bit with the tire management this race. We saw other races excelling. This race maybe he was on the struggling end, maybe. And we see Machete is not catching. Machete, well, it's catching 2/10 a lap, but this is not enough. The current gap is 2.2 seconds, and this is not enough. I think Lucas, if he keeps like this, he will take it home.
Yeah, the pace just isn't quite there for the medium runners, I don't think. I mean, Murno, his fastest lap of 105.676. He's currently lapping 106.6. Machete's in the 106.4s. Soriano also in the 106.6s, so I don't think he'll be getting into the equation anytime soon either. So yeah, unless something goes drastically wrong for Lucas Murno, or the tyres just completely fall to pieces, he is winning this race. Machete doesn't have the pace to catch him as it stands. And he's running out of time because it's about to be 3 or so laps left to go as they come across the line. And that'll be around about now-ish, I'm going to say. There we go, lap 59 of 62, almost at the end. Last lap, it was a 106.2 from Machete, a 106.5, a high 5, but still in the 5s. So the gap's now down to 1.8. It's not enough, Carlos. He needs to do more.
He needs to do more. It's just not enough, and I mean, he's starting to push now. Maybe he's using push to pass now to try to catch up, but yeah, it's not enough. As we see also, the podium is not closed yet. We see Joseph Herlock is also catching on Jose Soriano, Joseph with the soft tires and Jose with the mediums. And this is not over. I think there is more action here in the final slot of the podium. As we see, he's struggling just to put the power down, and we will see now what P2P management we have remaining from the different teams and from the different drivers. This will be key because push to pass here, if you don't have any, it's impossible to defend yourself. And it's very easy to see with the last sectors. We see Soriano is the slowest in the last sector, and one of the fastest is Joseph Herlock, and it's probably using his P2P to actually get into the DRS zone. We saw that his exit of the last corner was not the best one, so he's probably using this push to pass remaining that he has. And yeah, he is already in DRS range, and Jose should be very defensive in the upcoming laps.
Yeah, this could be interesting. Can Machete
And Machete is 1 second? Yeah, Machete is 1 second. So
yeah.
maybe he has something else, or maybe just Lucas just did a mistake because his second sector was very bad from Lucas. We will see. It's very close.
Yeah, close. I still don't know if Machete's going to be quite able to catch or see, because he's not quite inside DRS just yet. And we are on the penultimate lap of this race. So, I mean, he needs more than 6/10 as Herlock's now trying to have a go on Soriano to the outside to make it a double optimal podium. And that could be brilliant if he holds on. Not quite. Brilliant defensive effort from Soriano around the outside at turn number 2. The Spaniard fends off the Englishman. It's the Armada all over again in this battle for the final podium place. Ruben Machete is now inside of DRS range. Can he use that? Can he use the push to pass to his advantage? We'll have to wait and see, but it's down to 7.5 of a second. Out of nowhere, it's got very, very close, Carlos.
Yeah, it's gone very, very close. I think Lucas is struggling with the tires, and he is definitely in attacking range if he has the push to pass to actually attack. But I think Lucas has a lot of push to pass, because we can see the gap just going up and up. And we will see now, this is the last chance actually for Ruben Machete. We will see he's opening the DRS, but he's not closing in. He's not closing in. He doesn't have the push to pass to actually fight for it. He doesn't. And we will see actually the fight for the last slot of the podium. We can see Joseph Harlock going for the last attempt in the last lap as he loses. Ooh! Oh, he controls it! Wow!
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 Wow, Nelson Piquet, take a step back and look at it. Joseph Herlock, that was sent from above. I don't think it was on purpose, but man, oh man, was it brilliant to watch. Somehow kept it in one piece, power sliding his way through. Ruben Machete's lost a whole host of time. Has he got a problem? He's suddenly 1.5 seconds back. Has he made a mistake, or has he got a problem? Yeah, he was over a second down in sector number 1. Ruben Machete's made a mistake somewhere, which can only mean one thing, really, as we come to the end of the lap. The German will have to settle for second place, because up in front, in only his second ever GPVWC Superlights start, it is the Brazilian Lucas Murno who takes the win, brings Fusion their first victory in GPV since 2019. What a signing, what a race, what a moment for that man and that team. And in a moment where it looked like Machete had the race under wraps, they did something special in the final pit stops, managed to slide on through and never looked back. Fitting to do donuts on an oval. Lucas Murno, Fusion Racing, you are GPVWC Superlights race winners here at Indianapolis. The Brickyard once again serving us up a delight. What a race we've just seen, and what a moment there for Lucas Murno. Of course, I think the real question is, though, is what went wrong for Ruben Machete, Carlos Martin? He clearly made a mistake or something, went from being within fighting distance to 2 seconds back at the end.
Yeah, but maybe the question is if he did the proper right tire choice at the last stint, because he went for the medium and it didn't work out for him, and it looks like for Jose it didn't work out either, and they just ended up losing positions. In the case of Ruben, he was undercutted by Lucas, and in the case of Jose, he was overcut by Joseph. So it looks like the soft run with preserving, it was better than the medium pushing it.
Well, there you go. Strategy for you. Those things happen. We've got a replay here. This is Joseph Herlock on board. This is the move with Soriano. Man, oh man, this could actually be the overtake of the season. I know I say that all the time about every great move. Look at that! Oh, baby! Oh, that is brilliant from Joseph Herlock. I've got a massive smile on my face. I can't get rid of it. That is one of the great moves that you will see in GPVWC. Oh, just look at it from Soriano's angle. Wow. Again, I don't know if it was intentional. Oh, that's what happened to Machete. He lost it. I mean, great power slide. Top Gear fans would be proud, but yeah, just got a bit greedy. Maybe touched a bit of the track that might have been a bit damp.
That corner is very bumpy, and when you just when the tires are a bit done, you steer in and you might lose the rear end. But yeah, we have a new GPVWC race winner today on Lucas Murno taking the victory for Fusion Racing. We see double podium for Optiminal Esports on Ruben Machete P2, Joseph Harlock P3, Jose Soriano P4 for Networks Grand Prix, Luke Mitchell P5 for Kings Racing, Norbert Jaka P6, Mike Quinn P7, Yasa Latinen P8, Harry Smith P9, and Agustin Canapino P10. Patrick Magnusson, P11, David Fido, P12 starting from the pit lane, Mirko Lucchini, P13, Robin Merlin, P14, and closing up the points, Maxim Bulio. P16, Federico Russo, Domenico Roshavin, P17, Tom van der Voort, P18, and then the no finishing drivers, David Krupa, Mika Hakimi, Alexander Rogoza, Jan Sikora, Junior Lopez, Scott Mitchell-Malm, Daniel Scott, Jan Trugun, Michel Galka, and Filip Pushka. So, this wraps up the race. So, what are your thoughts, Ross?
Wow, I mean, an incredible ending and an incredible strategic battle after some chaos in the rain early doors, and a whole similar to what we saw in Spain, where it was what tyres do we start on? Is it slicks? Is it inters? But man, oh man, I still can't believe that Joseph Herlock overtake. It's unbelievable. Oh my goodness me. Fantastic stuff. Let us speak, first of all, to our race winner. If I can drag them in, Lucas Murno, if you can hear us. Yeah, I mean, there we go. Wow, what a race. Your first victory in GPVWC Superlights and only your second ever start. Wow, congratulations. Well, going really well. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, how are you feeling after that race?
Not gonna lie, very happy, you know. It was a scintillating race. It was a big gamble since the beginning, so I'm very happy with the result after what happened with the Fusion, after losing 2 podiums, but in the other way around, we got a big win for the team, so it was unbelievable. Very happy with the result. I have to thank for everybody for the opportunity to Jack, who made the opportunity to be here. And in the end, well, it was a good beginning. I felt very good with the car. I very comfortable with the pace as well. I adapted to the good speed, and I took a risk in the final stop. While the others were on the mediums, I tried the softs, which was something that failed on the other race in Barcelona. But this time I believe that was a right gamble, so I had to believe it to the end. And it worked, so, well, I'm very happy. I don't have to... I don't know how to describe the feeling, but I'm very happy, not gonna lie. It's something different.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about that final pit stop, because at the time you were running in second, and then you managed to come out ahead of Ruben Machete and Jose Soriano at that final stop. Do you think that was the point that kind of like decided the race, just your pace around that part?
I believe yes, because there was a lot of back markers. That is something that was decisive, since you had to take the back markers on the right time to get a good DRS to open a gap, and some back markers really helped and with the DRS, which make difference. And in the end, we could be in a good pace and save the tires, since the tires was quite bad in the end. But the game will work, and since Machete made a mistake behind, I could be a little bit more relaxed and go to the win. And well, I had to thank everybody who helped to be there. Thanks to the team, and thank you for the live, for all the people who watched the race. It was really solid, and let's go for the others. Quite strong. It was something that I can talk thank you for everybody who congrats me on my inbox and on the chat. So, and yeah, let's go for another one.
Carlos Martin, any questions for our newest race winner here?
Parabéns, Lucas. I know that racing from a different time zone, very different time zone, can actually sometimes be difficult. How does this change your routine compared to other racing you might do? Racing on a Thursday in the middle of the afternoon for you.
I think that's something convenient to my routine since things happened to be in the time to be racing here at the GPVWC. That was something that I had a plan to race, but I didn't have the opportunity. But now I had, and now will try to enjoy this as I can.
Very good. Congratulations, Lucas, and we're looking forward to see your progress in the upcoming races. Parabéns.
Thank you. Obrigado.
Well then, that was our newest race winner in GPVWC Superlights, Lucas Murno, with an outstanding drive. Let's grab in the man who finished second place and still leading the championship as well, Reuven Machete. Reuven, well, looks like it looks like you had that one covered and then suddenly you didn't. What went wrong?
Basically lap cars who don't know to let people go when they are close enough, and yeah. Just fighting in front of me, losing me seconds. And yeah, that was basically it. I was like 4 to 5 seconds in the stint, and Lucas got very lucky with always getting the GDS of the lap cars. I mean, I also got sometimes, but yeah. The lap cars costed me the win today, which, yeah, is quite frustrating. But on the positive side, we got a double podium, and we extended both championship leads. I think I'm leading now with 23 points or something, so that's great.
Yeah, it's hang on, let me just do some maths. 21 actually, but still, you know, you've extended that gap, and as you said, you've extended the team's championship for Optimal as well. You're now well up the road in that one after True North didn't have the greatest day in the office today. So still some positives to take from that. We're now heading into the spring break as well, so a little bit of time to rest and relax. What's the plan when you come back? Is it just get back to winning ways?
Exactly that is. I want to get the win. I want to win the championship this year. I think even with not much practice, I have shown that I could have won today. And yeah, it's really annoys me really hard that the lap cars, yeah, destroyed it. But it's racing, so yeah, we're looking forward to the next race and hopefully win on my favorite track, Canada.
Yeah, of course, a little bit of a break before then, but we're looking forward to it as well. Carlos, any questions for Reuven?
Oh, first of all, congratulations, Reuven. The question would be, what do you guys need to maybe bring back the pace you had or the pace advantage you had in previous rounds? No, you guys had an insane pace advantage at Jeddah. You had a good amount of pace as well in Barcelona with a wet and good decision strategy. And today it looked like the others closed up. What did you guys are missing or looking forward to have in Canada to actually regain this hammering pace you had in the previous rounds?
I mean, Spain was just basically strategy. I think Dragoon had the same pace as me in the drives. I didn't think we missed any pace. It was just a very close track where, yeah, everybody was really close, and also with limited practice today, maybe that was also a reason. But I think we are still we still have a pace advantage, especially on the second stint. You can see that in the end I pulled away, even though Murno had first shot higher. So yeah, the strategy would have worked very well today, but yeah, it doesn't mean to be happen today. So yeah.
Well, let's hope for a better one in the next one. Reuven, thank you and have a nice rest.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Reuven Machete, for that one. And yeah, great to hear from him. Obviously, he'll be a little bit disappointed with that one, but still championship leader as we head into the spring break. One last interview is ready to go for us. Let's speak to Harry Smith. Harry, yeah, interesting day for you out there today. Perhaps not one of the finer ones in the office, but still some positives to take, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it was overall a positive race, to be honest. I mean, I messed up qualifying by going out on the inters straight away and then deciding to pit for softs because I was like, well, this is basically dry. And then the moment they lifted my car up, it started raining. So, and raining very heavily. So I sort of knew, okay, the dry part of qualifying's gone now. It's gonna be pretty much last. So, which speaking of last, that's where I was after turn 3 on lap 1. So to come back from basically dead last by like 5 seconds to finish in the top 10, I think is a positive result, and also to Jose as well to have a race where he's actually able to finish it is a positive. So we don't know whether the issue's fixed. It might happen again, it might not, we don't know. So it's one of them where we just have to keep working on what we can control and move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you mentioned there obviously it was a bit chaotic down in the opening lap. I mean, how was it getting through there? Because it didn't look like you had any damage from it, so a bit lucky in that regard. But yeah, was it just kind of caught in the chaos?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the outside of turn 3, and I think it's just a case of probably there was 2 cars on my inside. I don't know. I've not looked back at it, so I don't know. And I just got hit off. So I mean, there's always bound to be casualties. So I guess it was just unlucky that I pulled the short straw.
Yeah, fair enough. Carlos, any questions for Harry?
Harry, first of all, yeah, it was a difficult race start already from qualifying, taking the wrong tires, and then have an eventful first lap of the race, which pushed you at the end of the pack 15 seconds already of the lead. But the car seemed like allowed you to do good progress and move on up till P9. So what did you guys correct heading into this Grand Prix? Because it's clearly a step forward compared to Jeddah and compared to Barcelona. And furthermore, how is it something that you can guys translate into Canada?
I think in Jeddah we didn't really get to see the true pace of the car because obviously Jose didn't even get a chance to start the race. So I think it would have been very interesting to see what kind of performance he would have been able to get out of the car. I mean, I was progressing up quite nicely in Jeddah to, well, I think I was going to be around P8, P7, considering I crashed in qualifying. So I think maybe we thought Jeddah was worse than it is, and also Spain we were lacking a bit as well. But it was a wet race. We had an engine disadvantage both races to the average, I believe. So that's something that could have factored in. But yeah, I mean, everyone in the team has contributed to helping develop the car. So it's not just down to the work that we put in, but of others in the team who you might well know.
Well, that's good. I hope you guys can keep up with it, and congratulations, Harry, and see you in the next one.
See you guys later.
Thank you, Harry, for speaking to us. Great to hear from him, and that looks like that's going to be it from us here in the commentary box. Carlos, any closing thoughts on what's been a very entertaining evening here at the Brickyard?
Yeah, well, some thoughts are that, well, we have now a 4-week break and the drivers can actually take it a bit of a rest. Maybe take 1 week or 1.5 week rest is good for resetting your mind and to keep with the efforts going on, because the season is long. 16 races is a long season to do, and we haven't reached yet half of way. And the other one would be something we didn't speak about today, which is the upgrades Fusion car won today, and to surprise to no one, they are the most developed car for this race, and this is important. The development race will start having interesting changes. They will start. Some teams will need to start to slow down the development. Most of them, which are new teams, you can count on that. Optiminal, you can count Netrex, Kings, Lunark, all these teams that are up there besides Fusion, which is one of the new teams that are carrying on RD points from last year. So we might see Fusion still being very strong in the upcoming races.
Should be interesting to see. That is all that we have time for tonight here in GPVWC Superlights Round 6. The United States, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the classic GP version, of course. Another fantastic race. A big thank you from myself and Carlos Martin for joining us. A big thank you to Fabian Jungbluth once again for doing an incredible job on the cameras. Of course, the Super League boys will be out in a couple of nights' time. Thursday, they'll be whacking their way around here. You can come and see Carlos and the gang putting on some fantastic racing. But in terms of us here...
Not really.
Well, maybe. We'll see. In terms of us here in Superlights, yeah, that's it. 4-week break now before we come back on the other side of the spring break. We'll be heading north of the border, going to Canada, and the circuit is Gilles Villeneuve. We'll see you in 4 weeks. Take care.